All right, Red Wings are in the shitter. What an embarrassing loss against the Avalanche. Pistons still holding around on the road right now out west. Had a little weak loss against the Suns, but rebounded nicely against our Golden State Warriors. Lions in the news with another offensive coordinator hire, and the Tigers. They're just sitting pretty, doing weird nothing. So I'm Mark. This is the Fan Forum. Hitch is supposed to be here. Yeah, right. How many times have we heard that? And we will probably have our special guest, Hermdo, my favorite co host. He'll be joining us shortly. So sit tight, enjoy, like, subscribe. And yeah, let me know what's on your mind tonight. All right. So, like I said, Red Wings are in the shitter. Todd McLellan, he's out here screaming. He's out here yelling. And we have, like I said, Mr. Hermdo here sitting in the lobby. I'm going to bring him in. Let's get him in so he can talk about Mr. McLellan. Perfect timing, Hermdo.
Hey, what's going on, man?
What's up, Hermdo?
Oh, nothing much, just chilling.
Hey, so as you call him, it's Todd McLellan. Um,
Yes.
I thought this was a great time to take an episode and just dedicate it straight to the Red Wings and how disastrous they've been the last
Yeah.
couple games.
It's been a little rough, and it's making me a bit nervous. I'm not pressing the panic button yet, but in a video I did, one of my more recent videos on the fan forum, I talked about this home and home with the Avalanche, and the Avalanche are dominating the league. They're the best team in the West. They're the best team in the league, period. And this is going to be a real test for the Red Wings going forward. And the Wings totally and completely failed to meet the moment. 0 for 5. It was
Yeah.
just sloppy all around. They couldn't pass. They couldn't enter the zone right. They couldn't. None of the hockey fundamentals. None of it. It was just a big sloppy mess. And it's one of those things. They're going to have games like that every once in a while. Even good teams have games like that. And coupled with a couple, we had that loss to the LA Kings. That was pretty bad. They couldn't get any offense going. They were like constantly frustrated by the goaltending, by the defense. Um, yeah, it's been they had a couple losses in the last handful of games. I'm not pressing the panic button yet, but this next one against Avalanche, that's going to be pretty crucial. You want to get a, but I remember they had that home and home against the Penguins like a month or two ago, and that was pretty bad. The Penguins slapped them around for 2 games, home and away, and that really didn't. They were able to rebound from that. I'm sure, if the Red Wings could bounce back and scratch out a win against the Avalanche, it's going to be tough to do. But Nathan McKinnon, he was pretty much just imposing his will on the Red Wings the whole game. That's what a player like that does. That's what a guy like that does. And Wings ain't got nobody like that, nobody even close. And it just kind of shows like Wings are doing really well so far, but they still have a ways to go. I don't know if you want to say they're one of these big boy teams yet. I mean,
Well,
but
it's kind of what
they've come a long way. Go ahead.
I was gonna say. That's kind of what their coach said. He just called them out for being sluggish, for being not ready for
Yeah,
game time. He basically just said, "You're not up to par right now."
yeah. That's the thing. It's been the story of the Wings. You get feeling good about the Wings, and then you get humbled.
Yep.
There's been a few moments this season. There's been a few games. Earlier in the season they were struggling. I think they went on like a 5-8-3 stretch over like 18 games or something. Earlier in the season they looked rough, but they kind of came back. They had a really good December, really good January, and now we're entering February. We're getting close. Playoffs are starting next couple of months.
Hmm.
Teams are going to be jockeying for position. We knew the Wings. This is an extremely tight um, Atlantic Conference, Eastern Division of Eastern Conference Atlantic Division.
Yes.
This is an extremely tight division.
Yep.
It's you got the Buffalo Sabres in play, you got the Montreal Canadiens in play. You got the Tampa Bay Lightning just slapping people around. Updated playoff odds came out earlier today. Wings are at about 77%. The Tampa Bay Lightning are at about 99%. Obviously, you got some of those Central West teams. They're all at about 100%. Avalanche are obviously 100%. Dallas Stars and the Minnesota Wild are up there too. Wings are still hanging in there, but after performances like this, it's kind of one of these things. They got to right the ship. We can't have a repeat of the last two Marches. We can't have a repeat of those late season collapses where the Wings were riding high, especially in 23, where it looked like they might. Or I'm sorry, should I say? Notice it's 2024. I should say. I'm all mixed up, but
It's okay.
you gotta, yeah, you gotta really power through this and figure out how to win. Because we know what the Wings look like when they're not on their A game. They're sluggish, they're slow, they're clumsy, they're uncoordinated. They look like they don't even want to be there. But Wings got to really refocus that energy. They got to be able to rise above. That's what makes that's a difference. Wings, as of right now, yes, they're doing well. They're very they're doing good in the Eastern Conference, but they're still a bubble team. They have to shed that bubble team. They got to rise to the next level.
Well,
That's
what's it going
what
to take to get that?
playoff teams
do
do.
that, right? That's the big question.
Well, we're gonna have.
It's a great statement, and you said it in your video, and I know someone commented on it, almost as you were wrong, which I don't think you are. But the biggest thing I took away from it is, okay, so if we're the bubble team, what do we do to pop the bubble to take us to that next level?
This free agency period. This is something Yzerman has to act. Yzerman, we can't be sitting on our hands. And now I know the last couple free agency periods we didn't do shit because the Red Wings were pretty much collapsing. But if you want to save this season, you got to start making some moves. You got to get a top 4 defenseman. You got to get a top 6 winger. The Wings have a lot of needs they need to address. They got to bring some more offense in. They got to bring some more consistent scoring in. They got to bring somebody to shore up this defense because the defense is top heavy. You got your Edvinsons and your Siders, and you got your Sherratt. He's the guy I talked about him before. I don't really hate his contract or anything. You're going to need a guy like Ben Sherratt. We get spoiled with all these like high-powered offense-driving defensemen. You need a guy like Sherratt to clear the front of the net. Bully people a little bit. Trying to be a physical, net front presence. A guy like him. But it's still you're going to need. You're going to need more than that. You're going to need someone to complement. Oh, excuse me, shit. You're going to need like somebody like a bottom pair. Like you got to strengthen the depth of this defensive core. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say, and not so many words. But you also need a scoring touch. You're going to need to get like somebody who can come in and really help out. And the lines have been good. DeBrinket's been great. Raymond's been great. Kane has been kicking ass. Larkin, every once in a while he slows down sometimes. He kind of disappears every once in a while, but
that's
he's still a reliable scorer.
Here, though, I feel like
that's true.
I just feel like the Larkin hate or the Larkin criticism is in my book is kind of like it's the same. It's the same criticism they've always.
It's the same thing.
When we're winning and dominating, it goes away. When we lose a couple games, here it comes. So kind of similar.
Here it comes.
To the Matt Stafford hate that we used to get here, which I know I said Red Wings, and I want to talk about this at the latter end, but I keep seeing these articles about what would you do about maybe a potential Matt Stafford reunion with the Lions, which is just weird.
Oh, brother.
So like we won't get into that yet, but I don't want to derail you.
But
that's what I'm thinking to myself when I hear the Larkin love or hate. It's right now.
Now, I'll say I got nothing but respect for Dylan Larkin. He puts his body on the line. He's been through a lot of emotions with this team. Yeah. I think he's a good leader. But in this time, you got to step up, Dylan. You got to be there when the team needs you. You can't. You got to step up. You got to be that guy. Dylan Larkin, to me, he's been on the Wings for 10 years. He's the longest tenured Red Wing. Mm-hmm. He's a hometown boy. He's been on the Wings forever. He has only recorded one point in the playoffs. That was in 2016 when they got swept by the Lightning. But, Dylan Larkin has not approached the playoffs. He's just not a franchise-altering player, obviously. But he's a guy. He's a good workhorse. He's a good leader. He sets a good example for like the younger guys. Larkin, he's pushing 30 now. He's been around. He's a grizzled NHL veteran now. He's been in the league for 10 goddamn years. He got drafted in 2014.
That was going to say he's been
But
around he's a vet now. There's no more excuses.
Yeah.
Not that we need some, but
Yep.
But when it comes down to the timeline thing, he's unk. He's unk in the league.
Yeah. He's been around for a long, long time. The Red Wings have come a long way in the last 10 years, especially last I'd say they've come a long way this season. So last couple seasons there, showing definite signs of improvement. But, I hate the biggest knock on Larkin right now.
So I was just saying, when you see a guy like me who's getting re-excited back into the Red Wings, when I see us lose to a team like Pittsburgh or a team like Colorado, I just go, oh shit, okay, fuck. It's like a temperature check for me, right? I guess maybe same thing with you and the Pistons, right? I know you follow from a distance still, but if you would see a loss to like Boston or a Big East team, you'd go, oh shit, we're not there yet, right? So I hope Red Wings fans aren't panicking. They've been great in the comments. Your videos are awesome, and anytime we talk about Red Wings, the comments from these Red Wings fans, like you said, the fans are psychos. They're just like screaming hillbillies on South Park, right? Like,
oh yeah, they go nuts. I mean, but I don't want to press the panic button yet. It would be easy to look. It would be easy for me to say it's a small sample size. I know, and I don't feel like the Wings are really trending down. I think this is a little bit of a bump in the road, but this is definitely the moment. You got to pull out of it. You got to understand, hey, we're in a little bit of trouble here. We got to really bring our A game. We got to step up, rise to the occasion, because that's what separates the bubble teams from the playoff teams. And the biggest knock, getting back to Dylan Larkin for a second, I just don't know if he's the kind of guy that can really quarterback that sort of thing, that can really drag them out of a slump. I hate to say it because I do love the guy. He is the Wings captain, but he needs to show up. That's I hate to trash the guy. I feel he's been around so long.
Here's where
he's one of the longest tenured Detroit athletes now. Yeah.
Here's where you're headed with this, and I think a lot of Red Wings fans are guilty of thinking this and saying this, is that he would be a great number 2 somewhere else. He would be the great Fetterman to the Yzerman, but he's not the Yzerman to the Fedorov. So it's like, he's not. There's nothing wrong with the guy, but it's just, I guess when it comes down to it, do you really think he's he can be your number 1? He can be your hero, baby. And I don't think a lot of fans think he's that guy.
He's really, he's a nice player. By all accounts, he seems to be a class act.
Yeah.
But as far as taking a team to the next level, it's been 10 years, and we're still not in the playoffs. He's just not a difference maker. I hate to say it. That's as plain as I can put it.
No,
I'm not disrespecting the guy. He's just not that kind of player.
Well, we have
I hate to say it
that I don't want to ignore from brand new one. I'm panicked. Wings will likely have to battle for the wild card 2 spot again. Thank you for the comment. Please subscribe. I mean, it kind of seems like, to me, here's the way I look at it. It's a temperature check. Do we like our coach? Do we believe in Todd McLellan? That's, I think, a well-rounded yes. I don't know. There's not a lot of doubt on him right now. Granted, he hasn't been around that long, but that's the first step.
No.
Right? Now, we talked about the whole Larkin thing. That's the leadership. That's where I think we're going to be battling. That's why I think we're battling for that wild card 2 spot again, because our captain is Larkin.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Larkin, like you said, but is he really? Does he have the gravitas as Stevie Y once had, or Nick Lindstrom, for that matter of fact?
Well, I mean, I hate to compare a guy like Larkin to a guy like Yzerman or Lidstrom, because those guys are two of the greatest to ever do it in the history of the sport. That's not a fair comparison. Dylan Larkin just isn't that guy. He's just not him. I hate to say it. I love you, Dylan, but I'm sorry, man. I'd be, but it just he's got, we need somebody. I mean, obviously, you'd like to have a player like an Austin Matthews or a Connor McDavid or a Nathan McKinnon or Kirill Kaprizov or something like that. Some guy who can go out there and score you 100 points and quarterback your offense
Yep.
and eat like 25 minutes a game
Yep.
and be like plus 20.
And be a
And it's just, yeah, absolutely, absolutely, be an international sex symbol. And Dylan Larkin was never that player.
No.
He's been the best. I mean, he's been, he would put up like 70, 80-point seasons on some absolute dog shit wing squads.
Mm-hmm.
And that's saying something.
It is.
But you need a guy, yes, you need a guy that's, can put up a lot more than him. And Dylan Larkin, he's going to be on the wrong side of 30 soon. And
well, Larkin
we need,
spent after the Olympics. His play went down after Four Nations last year. Exactly. That's a good comment, actually. The Four Nations was, I think, a real nice high point for the NHL. Something to really kind of put them back on the map and get a lot of guys talking. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of where my comment came from. He's a great number 2 with a really good number 1 is because that's what he played on that Four Nations game. He just played that holy crap, I don't have to, put it all on my back. And after that, he comes back to the Wings, and it's like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, he just totally, it's a Dylan Larkin disappearing act. It happens. Yeah. It happens. But, if you need, you're going to need like, and it goes back, and I can't, for whatever issues I have with Yzerman's plan, I talked about the Yzer plan over and over again.
We have,
and we talked about some of the good parts. The drafting's been good. Free agency has been kind of and other issues like that. The one thing is like the draft. He has had no luck in the draft. I mean, Lucas Raymond and Mo Seider, those guys, turned into pretty much superstars. I don't have a problem saying that, but you're going to need a true number 1, and it's obviously the most easiest thing to say because any hockey team is going to use like a guy like an Austin Matthews or an Elias Pettersson when Elias Pettersson was playing top of his game. But I think the Wings got to bring somebody in. They got to take a swing at somebody here. We can't waste another season. Yzerman's got to act. If we can get a number 1 center here, somebody Dylan Larkin can play behind. If we can shore up this defense. Obviously, the Wings need some help here and there. They're a complete team. They have depth. They play well. A lot of things suggest, like their puck luck rating is still very good. They're 5-on-5. That's the thing. It's just they rank kind of lower in the league. I mean, the defense looks totally different. I mean, imagine if Mo Seider goes down, this team is absolutely, completely fucked. And a lot of like statistics say, they're a good team in a lot of ways. They're a transition team basically. They don't spend a lot of time in the offensive zone. You see, they go through the neutral zone. They got the zone entries really quick, bang bang, get to the net, make a play, and then get the hell out of there. They're not a team that sets up in the offensive zone, and they're a team that basically that's just not their MO. And I don't know if they're really. I mean, I don't know if that's a recipe for long-term success with the way this team is built. I think you're going to need some help. You're going to need some complementary pieces. Obviously, that's every NHL team needs that. Except maybe like the top, like Avalanche or something. But
let's not forget, this is the same team. This is the same ownership that owns the Tigers, and we've talked about calling out the Ilitch family, Chris Ilitch, right? We know he watches and listens. Mm-hmm. Thank you for watching, Chris.
Yes. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Chris. Your dad made no qualms about it when he was in love with his team, right?
Yeah.
He showered his Red Wings to make sure that they were the darlings of the NHL. And he waited a substantial amount of time to do that with the Tigers. And he wanted that that World Series, right?
Yeah. Yes, he did.
We know that they say Chris Ilitch is more of a Wings guy himself, what are you going to do for this franchise? We know you're not opening it up for the Tigers, and I don't blame you
No.
personally. I really don't. But you have an opportunity with the Red Wings right now where if you're going to spend some money, like Tom's saying, get somebody the caliber of an Austin Matthews, like Tom is saying.
Yeah.
Now's the time to do it, man. Like the Iser
Yes.
plan is, I don't want to say is over, but the Iser plan is all about drafting and developing. But now it's talking about just
Yeah.
taking us to that next level, which I think is just common fucking
Yep.
sense. And that's just going to get a game
Yep.
changer. So you don't have to Iser plan it up
They
anymore.
got,
You just insert common
yeah.
sense.
We're not in the preliminary stages. We're becoming a true team.
Yes.
And the Red Wings have shown me enough this season to prove to me this team is ready to take the next step. And the next step is to spend some money. They got $28 million in cap space. They got plenty of room on this team for a guy. You know, I know we don't want to part with the Nate Danielsons and the Axel Sandin Pelicas, but I don't think you'd really have to do that. I think you could add a damn good player. You could bring in somebody like an Elias Pettersson, who, look, the Canucks, they're a dumpster fire. They absolutely would be. I mean, we traded Philip Hronek to them. We could absolutely work. So we have a trade relationship with them. Yzerman could get on the phone and make some calls. Now, there was a rumor, speaking of Chris Ilitch, a couple of years ago, Steve Stamkos was on the market. And apparently, Yzerman was interested in bringing him on board, but Chris Ilitch nixed it. Apparently. That's the rumor going around. I saw that on Twitter. I can't remember who posted it. This was a while ago. But it just kind of like puts the idea in your head. I don't know why, but it kind of puts the idea in your head like, you know, maybe Yzerman is hamstrung a little bit. You could say Scott Harris is definitely hamstrung with the Tarek Skubal shit going on. But
I guess if those are the rumors that are out there, dude, then that answers my question. He's not about to open up his pizza pockets right now.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You got that pizza. You're selling that shitty pizza. Come on. Yeah. I mean, I'll buy more fucking hot and ready's. I'll buy 10 of them right fucking now. But it's just, you know, if the owner, if Chris Ilitch, I just think the guy wants to do more with less. And I don't think that's really the way you can operate, because that's pretty much the MO with these teams. The Tigers draft and develop. They got a really good farm system. They showed flashes of brilliance last season, but you just kind of saw towards the end.
It's Major League Baseball in an era where if you're not already the Dodgers, Mets, or Yankees or Cubs to a certain extent, or I'm sorry, Red Sox as well, you're not going to spend money because of the ever looming salary cap and probably strike, right? So, or lockout, not strike. But I get that. You have a young core of guys where there's not really an urgency where you have to spend big money. However, with hockey, where the salaries are different, the cap's different, the timing's different, and the urgency is different too, because of how this roster really is ready to, I think, take it to that next level. So I don't know.
Yeah.
With retiring Fedorov this year, now's a great time to go make a big move and say you're serious about it. To me, kind of doing that was like the Lions when they were serious about winning, and you saw them go to the NFC Championship game, and they brought back Barry and Calvin, and Eminem was at every game.
Yeah.
And Kid Rock was handing out free beers to all the kids. So they just you can tell when an organization now, to me, is clearly going all in, and you can tell when they're in the status quo. And I see the Red Wings. This is an opportunity for Chris Ilitch, again, hi Chris, to go out there and make a commitment to the city that you're serious about your hockey team.
Mm-hmm. This city is dying for competitive hockey.
They are.
This is a great hockey city. Probably the best American hockey market, as far as I'm concerned. You know, I don't care what Tampa Bay or Florida or Colorado have to say, or even Vegas. Ugh. But this team. I mean, we talked about. I mean, it's just like I don't just want to look. Red Wings will always mean more to me because of how successful they were and how spoiled we were as fans in the
Mhm.
90s and 2000s watching this
Right.
team. This town is dying. We've watched all sorts of teams. We watched multiple cup winners in the last 18 years.
Mhm.
We watched the Penguins win three technically. We watched Florida. Florida Panthers were
Boston, dude.
also ran.
The Bruins.
Boston too. They won one in 2011, yeah, but they got to a couple of cup finals, um, but yeah, we watched the Blackhawks win three Stanley Cups. The Blackhawks, for God's sake, and it's just one of those things. It's just kind of like we need a competitive hockey team, and I I you know what? But you know what? I don't want to count my chickens before they're hatched. I want to be a positive, uplifting source, and I don't want to say, oh, they're not going to do this, they're not going to do this. It would be easy for me to get on the airwaves and put out a YouTube video talking about how Chris Illich sucks and Steve Eiserman's an idiot and the Eiser plan's not going to work. I do believe that there is a sense of urgency with the Red Wings, and I do believe Eiserman will make us. He's going to make a splash. That's a Hermdo guarantee. We're getting a good ass player. We're going to maybe a good defensive player. He might bring a couple guys in, some complimentary pieces. I think Eiserman will make a big splash in free agency this season. I think the signs are pointed there. The Tigers, I don't know, but the Red Wings, I think Red Wings seem to be. I mean, they're at this point. They've been a bubble team. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride for a decade. 10 years, no playoffs. The Red Wings. There has to be a sense of urgency. It is unacceptable that the Detroit Red Wings are not in the playoffs. It's every year. It's unacceptable, and I have to believe that the upper management understands that. I have to believe Steve Eisman understands that. Maybe I'm just hoping against hope. Maybe I'm coping. Maybe I'm coping and seething, as the young kids say. I have to believe Eisman knows what he's doing. I have to believe they're going to make a big move, and this team is going to be different. This is a different feeling. We're not just going to sit around in February and March and watch the Red Wings fuck everything up. Eisman's going to add some pieces. I have to believe we can't do 3 years in a row of this. I can't do it 3 years in a row of late season collapses. We got to head this shit off. Eisman, you know,
If
shit
you
or get
have
off
hate
the
in your
pot,
heart, let
man.
it out. If you have hate in your heart, let it out. If you have hate in your
I
heart,
do have
let
hate
it
in my
out.
heart.
If you have hate in your heart,
Thank you.
let it out. If you have hate in your heart, let
Sorry,
it out.
that's not supposed to be in repeat.
That's okay. That's okay. Let
uh,
Dave Chappelle have his moment.
yeah,
But yeah, it's
if it's a Hermdo guarantee, you've never steered me wrong with your Hermdo guarantee. You really haven't.
I try not to.
So,
Yeah, it's one of those things. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say,
Ooh.
we talked about championships, right? So 2008 was the last championship the city ever experienced, and it was from
Yeah,
our Detroit Red Wings.
our Detroit Red Wings. Yes, I remember. I have so many memories. I remember where I was every one of those championships. I remember all these moments. In 2008, I was at my buddy Sean's apartment, like his girlfriend's parents' apartment or some shit. We were chilling in there. We were watching the game. Sean didn't give a fuck about hockey. He was just like, let's just watch the game, whatever. And I remember sitting there, and I remember that last moment of the game where Marion Hossa is crashing the net. The puck, I mean, Chris Osgood was going swimming. He was like this in front of the net, like this, and the puck scoots right in front of him, right between him and the net, almost crosses the line. It was absolutely insane. Marion Hossa was like right there. He was like 2 feet away. And then Chris Osgood got up and he starts going like this, and everybody just crowds together in that at the Pittsburgh Arena. Absolutely insane. I was jumping up and down. I was
Yeah.
screaming. I remember driving back on Gratiot, and it was an absolute pandemonium. All the bars were packed. There was like riot vehicles. There was like armored cars out in the street because there were so many Detroit Red Wings fans out there causing a ruckus. It took us like an hour to get home. It was absolutely insane. I would give anything for that feeling back because you felt invincible. Your hockey team, when your team wins a championship, it's like nothing else. And in my lifetime, I mean, obviously you got the Pistons won the Bad Boys era. We've had 5 championships, and it's great. We need another one, man. This city is starving for it.
You know, it's funny you say that. So my story when the Red Wings won in 2008, I was working at Metropolitan Tanning over on 13 and Harper, and they're open. Well, at the time we were open till midnight, so always late. And I had me and a couple of my buddies up there, guys, you know. And for anyone who doesn't know, there's 2 big TVs up on the wall, and there's some couches, so you can see the TVs right when you walk up. So it was late at night. The Red Wings, the game was on. I was working, and everyone else was up at the bar except for the guys that I'm working with. And we kill the lights in the store, have the TVs on, got the game going on, and you have the St. Clair Shores cops pull up. And I'm like, what is going on? I open the door. They're like, hey, man, do you mind if we watch the game? Now, this is 2008. Not everybody could just pull it up on their phones, right? So we watched it with the St. Clair Shores cops, and they thanked us, and we thanked them. And the place smelled a little funny, and they didn't care. So it was all good. And I just think about that, and you're right. It feels so good to win that championship, and we sniffed it out with Michigan in 2023, 24. The national championship for college football, but it's still not the same, right? We have expectations here in Detroit where we want to win actual pro championship games. So, to me, we actually have a shot with the Pistons. So, like, I'm actually kind of excited about this season for the Pistons. Not to transition right away, but
no, absolutely.
Basketball, give me the ball because I'm gonna dunk it.
So I thought for sure we could at least talk about the Pistons and get into some basketball talk too, because my God, Hermdo, I know they lost to Phoenix, and everybody was talking about Dylan Brooks's 40-point game, but they're going out west, man, and they're smacking around Golden State. They're
smacking around the Denver Nuggets.
Exactly, they smacked.
They beat the Denver Nuggets. Yes,
which is like beating the Illuminati because they tried to give that game away. And when you have that magical season in the NBA and you can go against the grain, there's no other feeling like it, and that's the only way. Pistons fans that we know how to do this, right? So,
right.
I think we got a good
shot.
Exactly.
I mean, I think so too. I'm liking what I'm seeing from the Pistons. Everything's coming together. You know, the defense is outstanding. Cade Cunningham, he's been showing up in a major way. The guy is he does everything you need him to do. He's the leader on this team. I mean, JB Bickerstaff is really, propelling this team in a way that past coaches. I just remember, all the also ran coaches we brought here after. We had what was his name? Flip Saunders, and before him we had what was his name? Shit, something. The guy who won it with us in 2004. He won a college championship. What was his name?
Larry Brown. We had Rick Carlisle.
Larry Brown. I knew it was something really easy. I'm sorry. I'm not a huge basketball guy. You got to forgive me. But I remember like the carousel of coaches, all the guys we brought in here. They had John Kuster and Michael, what's his name, and all this kind of stuff going on. And it was just like, then Tom Gores took over, and he's just like, our big three is going to be Reggie Jackson and Andre Drummond and Blake Griffin with his fucked up knees and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And it's just like, what are we doing here? I mean, God bless Blake Griffin. He did try. He did drag us kicking and screaming into the playoffs that one year. But,
I was going to say, he gave it his all, man, and he was old and busted.
He gave it his all. That's all you can do. And we just, there was nothing. I mean, we lost to the Bucks that year. Did we get swept by the Bucks that year? But, the Pistons, I mean, they were just,
remember the Stan Van Gundy era with the Stanley?
Oh, God,
Johnson
Stan Van Gundy. Jesus. Yeah. Oh, God. Remember Brandon Knight and Contavious Caldwell-Pope? Remember all these guys? Contavious Caldwell-Pope won a championship with the Lakers. These other Pistons.
In a completely different role than
Kid
what
can
we
play.
drafted him for. I mean,
totally.
As a role player and a shooter, great. But like we were looking for, someone to take over. But anyways, we have been through a lot, and kudos to Pistons ownership for um, taking that complete left turn when the whole Monty Williams and Troy Weaver thing didn't work out.
Oh,
That was just a
God.
couple years ago and a lot of dollars, and they said yank, and they ripped that bitch right out. And
Yeah,
it wasn't going to be pretty if we
that
kept up with
was
that.
what if you want like I don't physically cringe. I mean, like obviously there's some aspects of sports you're gonna cringe, but just like watching some of those Monty Williams press conferences during that season, during that 28 game losing streak, and just seeing how totally checked out he was and how he just like didn't know what the fuck to do. He was totally out in the wilderness. You got this coach of the year from the Phoenix Suns. One of these guys that he took the Phoenix Suns to the finals, and he's a guy that's supposed to be this elite coach, and he's in there with this Kate Cunningham and a bunch of G leaguers, and he had. I mean, it was just. I mean, all the Pistons. Oh man, just think of all the Pistons' bad draft picks. What was that French kid's name? Oh hell.
Oh boy, Tom, we just got raided by the Doctor
Shit.
Nadu with all their fans. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate
Oh
it.
no.
Hopefully they're all liking and subscribing. All their
Hopefully.
grimy weird.
But yeah, I mean,
fans.
just like yeah, but just like the absolute clusterfuck that was the Pistons. I'm not a huge basketball guy, but I watch the games every once in a while, and I follow it somewhat. And I tune in, I watch the highlights. I check what people saying on Twitter. I go on the fan forum Twitter, but I got to be careful there because it's just like it's a sea of negativity. But
you want to talk about negativity? There really isn't a lot of negativity surrounding this Pistons team, right? There's no personalities that suck, right? Cade Cunningham is a silent assassin. He is, when he's healthy, right? And again, his injuries are just little here tweaks in there. But dude,
yeah,
when he's on the court, man, he is amazing. With his mid range, right? He in the inside the paint. His defense is phenomenal too for what role he plays on our team. And then you want to talk about everybody else. Jaden Ivey's defense he's been stellar. Ron Holland's defense for guards. Holy shit, these guys, it's all they do is play defense. Then you got Jalen
look
Green.
at like Asar
He's
look at like Asar Thompson and Isaiah Stewart too. I mean, Isaiah Stewart, he looks like a reclamation project for a while. I remember we drafted him. Didn't we draft him the same year we drafted Sadiq Bey and what was another dickhead's name? I don't remember, but
we got Sadiq Bey, we got him, and that Sadiq Bey one was a big one, right? Because you look at those drafts, dude. There's so many guys that we could have just that would have fit on purpose here, and I don't want to live in the past.
Tyrese Halliburton.
Oh Jesus Christ, yeah, Tyrese Halliburton. And
who do we take? What was that kid's name? The kid that was what the fuck? He was from France. He was from the French leagues. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He was a huge, huge bust. We took him like 7th overall in 2020.
You're thinking of yes, it's and I know exactly who you're talking about. Jesus, right? God damn it. I can see a stupid haircut.
It was his stupid haircut. He had that stupid poofy hair.
Yeah.
And he couldn't do anything right. I'm using my phone right now, otherwise I'd look it up.
No, you're okay. Killian Hayes.
Jesus.
Killian Hayes.
Remember how horrible he was?
Killian Hayes is
my
awful.
God.
And then they sent him back to the French league, and he got kicked out. And now I think he's at Chipotle, serving Hitch.
Yeah,
we've had some
never coming back
draft picks. We also drafted Mateen Cleave.
Oh my God!
Remember that?
Oh God! Oh,
yeah. Awful.
I remember the signing. I remember the big one. We signed Charlie Villanueva and Ben Gordon that one year.
Yes,
and that was like Dumar's.
After that, we swooped in and got Tobias Harris for the first time in a really bad situation when he was younger. That was an interesting time though for the Pistons because Dumars was handcuffed with the ownership inevitably changing, but they told him, we're not going to let you spend any money as GM. We're melting this thing down and selling it. And that was brutal. That was brutal for Pistons fans to hang on. So if you're a Pistons fan and you hung on, yeah, I don't know, dude. It's
God bless him.
It's nuts. But
God bless him, man.
Plexico Burris is giving big a shout out to Hermdall right now. He said you were supposed to pick him up from the club this morning, so you fucked that up with Plexico Burris.
Give me a call, Plaxico. We'll get this right. Plax, don't take that. I'm sorry, man. I was busy. I had a girl over. Give me a call. You know, we were popping bottles last night. I got up a little late. You give me a shout. We'll hang. Whatever you want, Plax. We'll do it.
I had a feeling.
That's what I call him. I call him Plax. He's my buddy.
That's just how it goes. Well, you know what's funny, Hermdo? In this title, it says "Return of the Hitch" potentially, and I'm still waiting for him to come on. He texted me.
What is that bearded fuck doing? That's so important. I saw pictures of him on Facebook. He's like going to weddings and shit. He's like, oh, he's spending quality time with my family. It's like, you get on here and you live stream with your high school buddies, your douchebag high school buddies. Get your ass on here. Tell your daughter and your wife, hey, sorry, honey, this is more important. God damn it, Hitch.
The funny thing is, and I'm going to have to call him out on this because he said he got lots of compliments from a lot of people saying how great of a job we're doing without him around. But then I told him, thank you for that, obviously. And then he said, what day could I do it? And I said, hey, we've been doing these lives on the weekends. Sunday nights seem to be really good and working well. So how about we'll kick off and just continue to do Sunday night lives? Now he goes, all right, well, that's great. Sundays are perfect for me. So he tells me, all right, I should be able to do that. And then calls me last night and says, hey, the pipes broke up at my cottage in Houghton Lake. But again, his dad's up there. He said, I might be needed up there. And I'm like, okay, well, if you're not here and you're in Houghton Lake, I get it. But if you're in the tri-state area, I anticipate a podcast because you're the one that said, listen, I want to do this. So I'm assuming he's got all his shit set up and he's waiting. He texts me as we're doing this and says, should I set up? I send him the link of us recording right now. I don't know how much more I can set this up for him or tee him up from this.
I don't know.
But
take his hand and walk him through it. I just don't want to do it, man.
I really think so.
God damn it. You got to
we do have someone in the comments saying Minnesota Hitch bitch 69 says free the zebras from the Twin Cities. So
yes.
He's trying to take me down that route, which I could go down, but I'm not going to do it just yet.
Yeah.
So
a lot of crazy stuff going on in the Twin Cities. Not sports related, unfortunately, but
yes, unfortunately.
Oh, lordy. But let's change to a lighter topic. Well, we talked about the Lions a bit, and did you see the article talking about how Dan Campbell was the number one coaching hire since 2021?
Yeah, I did see that. I really did. What do you think about that? I mean, we did a whole live episode where people were saying he's on the hot seat right now.
Yeah. Dan Campbell, he's a guy, it just he's I don't know, I'm trying to figure out a way to say this, I sound like a total dick, but I don't think Dan Campbell really, I think his seat's getting a little warm. It's, you gotta, it's all about how he regroups. I want to give him like one more season. Obviously, I think Detroit fans, I think Lions fans are like, okay, we had a bad season. Dan Campbell was making some questionable calls. He wasn't Dan Gamble, the classic example of that. We didn't see a lot of these crazy trick plays. Granted, you don't really have the offensive stats to put that together, but Dan Campbell, some of his play calling was kind of questionable, some of the stuff he was doing. But as far as a guy, look, I can't, however this winds out, however this turns out, Dan Campbell is still a guy who came here. He changed the culture. Those players would walk through fire for him. There's nobody, not in my lifetime, but maybe Wayne Fontes back in the 90s or something, but there's nobody that really inspired the Detroit Lions quite like Dan Campbell. And the guy is just, he's hard. He's so hard to not love. The guy is just, he's a big jock. He's a big meathead. He says like this goofy stuff. He's all about the team. He's all about this shit. You know, he's obsessed with it. He lives and breathes and eats this stuff. God bless him. But Dan, you gotta bounce back, buddy. You know, but I think the Petzing hire. I think he'll work well. Bringing Mike Kafka too, getting this offense.
And that's something that we
back
haven't
to
really talked about is we have two. So we went from the best offensive coordinator we've ever had, to not having an offensive coordinator last season, to now having two offensive coordinators. Who, with all rightful assumptions, are going to be on the same page and doing everything we want them to do. But Mike Kafka is the guy that came into Ford Field with Jameson Winston and almost beat us and embarrassed us. I was at that game. That got weird.
I remember that. Yeah. Well,
weird.
with Mike Kafka, well, we take a look at their bodies of work and Drew Petzing with Arizona. Now Drew Petzing and Mike Kafka, whatever their capacities are going to be, however they're going to work this all out with the offensive coordination and with the setup of the offense, I'm not sure. You look at Mike Kafka's body of work. Now, he got something out of Jackson Dart. But granted, when he was the interim coach, the Giants stunk. Granted, they're not really even a football team. I'm wondering what John Harbaugh's going to do with his team. But the same thing with like Arizona. You got the Kyler Murray out there. It's just not working out. This Petzing guy, I mean, he doesn't have much to work with. Now you do have something to work with. You do have Jared Goff and Jahmyr Gibbs and Jameson Williams and our good buddy, our close friend of the show, Amon-Ra St. Brown. And you actually have an offense to work with. You got some schemes to work with. You got a guy who you got a high-powered offense. At the healthy Sam Laporta, yes. Hopefully Brock Wright comes back too.
And you have an offseason where I guarantee you they're going to reshuffle that offensive line and take what we'll call for the protector of the year, Penny and
Sewell. Yeah.
Excuse me. I almost had a sneeze.
No,
Thank you.
It's okay. It's okay.
You know what? Shout out to Navage. I just bought one of those things, dude. Amazing for your sinuses. Anyways.
Really?
Fantastic. Best thing I ever bought. But you're probably
Navage, sponsor us.
What's that?
Navage, sponsor us.
Yes, please. You're going to move Penny over when Decker's gone. Decker's out. He'll save you $12 million in cap space. You're going to have Graham Glasgow gone, if not restructured. You already saw Goff, St. Brown, all the major players restructure their deals. So money's already getting moved around. I would imagine, I don't know if it's going to be Tyler Linderbaum, who everybody saw is kind of the number one free agent from an offensive lineman. He's a center. He's a proven Pro Bowler. But they also could say he could be going to New York to play for Harbaugh. Just depends how much you think Brad Holmes is going to do. But that's the biggest key factor is Brad Holmes has shown us in free agency, unless your name's Marcus Davenport, he's not really looking for you. And I'm kind of sitting here wondering, going, what do we do here? If Brad Holmes doesn't execute with free agency like we want him to. So we'll see. I take that out of your verbiage and say, we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I think the issues are obvious now. And I know we talked about, I was thinking about this the other day, because how like some of these teams, they get a little taste of success and they think they don't have to, add anything, or they don't address the issues that are present on the team because the overall numbers look good, but you're still not addressing the cracks and the problems in this team. We kind of saw that with the Lions. We see that historically with the Lions. Like I remember back during the 2011 season, they went 10-6. And Martin Mayhew thought, we don't have to fix this defense even after Matt Flynn torched you for like 6 touchdowns. Yep. We're just going to keep rolling with it, to keep the staff the same because we've arrived. We're dangerous in our own division now. We're like one of the better NFC teams. That's what they believe. And we all saw how that worked out for them. 4-12 season the next year. But we saw it with Michigan too. We talked about that. I know I'm rehashing this stuff, but we saw you win a natty. You, yeah, it is. It is. But you saw it. You won the Natty. The next season you win 8 games. But you beat Ohio State and you beat Alabama in the bowl game. You're thinking, okay, we're still good here. Then you go out and you think your shit doesn't stink. You go out and you get Bryce Underwood for like $10 million in Larry Ellison money. You bring him in here, but you don't give him any kind of offensive guidance,
Nope.
any kind of anybody to train him up.
Not even
You
a
just
coach,
figure, okay,
nothing.
we got this guy. You run the same plays as with Bryce Underwood as you ran with Warren Davis, for fuck's sake, or Davis Warren, whatever the poor cancer kid's name was. But you're running the same plays. You have these bubble screens, these halfback dives, these freaking checkdowns, and all this shit. It's goofy. Now Kyle Whittingham's here. I don't know what he's going to bring to the table, but I don't want to get off the road to Michigan. But you see a lot of these teams. You see the Detroit Lions, and it's just like after the 2025 season. I'm sorry, 2024 season. You're 15-2. Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell think their shit doesn't stink. They don't need to address. Look, you had 20 guys on the IR last season. It was obviously a huge issue. Your defense was spent. Your offensive line had cracks in it. You didn't make,
I'm glad you brought that up because on St. Brown's podcast, they had Fred Warner, the ex-linebacker for was that what his name is? I'm trying to remember.
I think I know what you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah. And they had him on the podcast, and he's talking about how Dan Campbell's a great coach and yada, yada, yada. But he's like, he's got to stop that bullshit where he's got you guys in pads going at it practice. And basically just saying that the way you guys practice is I admire it. You're trying to be a dog. You're trying to be vicious. He's like, but you look at your injuries, dude. Dudes are getting hurt on your team left and right. So maybe you need to change that strategy up.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. We brought that up before, but it's just like, there's things as far as the Lions. I know you've had some success for the Lions, but at the same time, it's like, dude, you don't have the hardware. You're still competing for that shit. You still got to reach that mountaintop. And you know what? A lot of things have worked. I think Brad Holmes' draft strategy has worked brilliantly. I think a lot of Dan Campbell's coaching has worked brilliantly. And we've had a lot of success on the field in the regular season. Hey, we won a couple playoff games, but still, we still got a mountain to climb, boys. We still got a mountain to climb. We got close to the peak. We didn't reach it. We fell back down. We got to climb our asses back up there, and we got to make some changes.
No, and you're right. And speaking of changes, we're going into a season where the entire NFL's changed over. All the seats, all the coaching changeovers, all these new hires. Cardinals just hire Mike LaFleur, so now you got Mike LaFleur and Matt LaFleur coaching. The Vikings just fired their fucking general manager. Looks like Kubiak is going to be the next Raiders head coach. So you're going to see all this, the new changing of the guards, and you're going to see everyone's back to being healthy again, and all these new schemes and coordinators and drafts, and it's going to just be all fresh. And it's going to be very, very, very interesting because the schedule is going to be so different for the Lions. This is the first time we've ever, as Lions fans, basically backed into a super, we'll call manageable, almost cake-like schedule because it's a fourth-place schedule with a really good team, right? Almost hopefully better than this year's team just because of the injury bug. So, it'll be a great time to be in that position where we've had our up, we went through our down, we've leveled out, right? Now the schedule isn't just crazy psycho hard like it was last year, and we get to take advantage of this NFL changeover too. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting, right? I still think you're going to see a Sam Darnold Super Bowl, which is crazy, but yeah.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah, Sam Darnold and Drake May, for God's sake. But yeah, this is the opportunity, like you said. This is the opportunity. The Lions have they're in a good spot here.
Yeah,
they're in a good spot. The problems are obvious. Yes, the problems are obvious. The schedule's easy. You know what you need to do. You went out there and you shored up the offensive kind of side of the ball. You're going to have some new schemes next year. You're going to have,
Yep.
you're going to kind of revamp that area of the football. You got a lot of, you're going to need some help with the offensive line, obviously. With the secondary, you got some guys coming back, hopefully. It's just, as far as, quarterbacking, Goff, he's a dog. He's going to get you where you need to go. He's going to put up some damn good numbers. That's just what Goff does. They really unlocked Jared Goff here. But it's just, there's a lot of good things for the Lions. I think there's a lot of reasons to be hopeful and happy. I know a lot of people, but it's just like, if they fall on their faces again next season, because right now there's no excuse. There's no excuse. We could say like last year they lost some guys. There are some shakeups. You lost your coordinators. You got a rough schedule. Yeah, and that was bad. And we saw like the Eagles, they lost their coordinators, won a Super Bowl. The Lions, that's the playoffs. But the thing is, now it's like what the issues are. You know where the holes are.
Yep.
Brad Holmes, you got to fix that shit. You can't be huffing your own farts. You can't be buying into your own hype. You know what you got to do.
We set the alarm off real quick, dude. There is a fart huffing alarm now that I think we as Lions can pull and say, Brad, you've hit it. You're huffing it. I can't tell you enough how much we support Brad Holmes already. I mean, he's got to be open to a little bit of critical feedback, and I'm sure he's getting it right now. I mean, that man got unconditional love for probably 2 or 3 years, and now you're getting, there's more than just the dues of the nation out there critiquing him. So Minnesota Hitch bitch says, you guys need me. I'm the real Hitch. You're welcome to join us. It looks like even your icon is him. So if you have the ability to hop on Minnesota Hitch bitch 69, please hop on and join us.
Yeah, that sounds good. The more the merrier. But like I was saying before, there's no excuses now. If the Lions come out flat-footed next season, if they can't achieve their goals, if they don't get back to winning playoff games, that's a new standard, boys. That's a new standard with the Lions. You got to win some playoff games.
Yeah, and I want to see us back in the NFC Championship game. Like, I'm really
of course
that the standards are going to be up there. And I think now that we know that the Bears have the ability to put something together, good luck. Go through a gauntlet of matches that year. But let's not forget that the Packers still have Jordan Love. They're still going to have what's his face? I can't think of his name right now.
Who's that?
Their defensive end they traded for. Why am I blanking on his name, Hermdo?
Oh, Micah Parsons.
Micah Parsons.
You're pulling to me. You can't remember the names.
Yeah.
God, we're a couple of old Alzheimer's patients.
They still have Micah Parsons, right? So Minnesota seems to kind of be taking the hit with firing their GM, and then J.J. McCarthy. I don't know what he is. They don't know what he is. Justin Jefferson could do.
He's bad. That's what he is.
It's true. Justin Jefferson could do a trade me, and you want to know what trade me too? I think is, and I mentioned this on TikTok, is that I think you're going to see Josh Allen pulling a trade me real soon, and get me out of Buffalo because I'm not convinced they're doing right by him there.
No, with the coordinator they have in place, getting rid of Sean McDermott. Getting rid of Sean McDermott. Jeez. We were just talking to Wayne. I should have remembered that shit. But but bringing in an internal hire, a guy, promoting the OC where Josh Allen kind of languished under. He couldn't really reach his full potential. It was a very conservative game plan.
And I
think
Wayne,
you're not
said,
realizing.
Who do you not want? And he said, I don't want Joe Brady. And he got
Joe Brady.
So to me,
exactly.
That just seems like the Gerald Ford move, right? Where you're just kind of like you're the cuck, you're the hangout, you're not serious. You're to me, it just I don't like it. I'm a big Buffalo Bills fan. I like what they're doing there, but I think for their fan base, they're ready. They're just I don't know. I don't get it. I feel like they're going to waste away some good talent, and don't be surprised if Josh Allen doesn't pull a Stafford and says, "Get me out of here!" Right? So Joe Burrows might do it in Cincinnati, which would be some pretty cool turmoil, but I don't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Joe Burrow. He's another name to watch. God Almighty, how far they have fallen. God,
Oh,
just like no defense to speak of whatsoever. And they got to a Super Bowl a
absolutely.
couple of years ago. Fucking A.
That's big,
But
big,
yeah,
big,
it's just one
big,
of those
big
things.
win.
Yeah, but it's just with the situation now, Buffalo is entering a transitional phase. Can you say that? Can you pencil them in as like a powerhouse in the AFC anymore? Same thing with the Ravens. A lot of these powerhouse teams, they're going through a phase right now. They're getting rid of these longtime coaches and they're
Yep.
bringing in new guys. Lions are still keeping everybody around for the most part. I mean, yeah, obviously they brought some new guys in. Yeah, John Martin has been dead for 3 months, but um, yeah, it's just right now. I mean, the Lions are kind of in a transitional phase as well. Granted, the staff hasn't shifted around too much, but now Dan Campbell, you got to pick up the pieces, buddy. But yeah, the Josh Allen situation, it's just like, man, he's such a premium talent, and I'm not jealous of many quarterbacks around the league. I
Yeah, I
love
know.
Jared Goff that much. I really don't feel like longing for any quarterback. But the one quarterback I am definitely jealous of is Josh Allen. The guy is just on another level, and I hope the situation with him in Buffalo works out. I'd like to see. Look, obviously, if the Lions don't win, I'd love to see Buffalo get a championship because they're a pretty tortured sports city.
I don't think it's
But
gonna
yeah,
happen, man.
it's
I just they keep
yeah,
losing so much, and you know, you look at
yeah,
Sean McDermott now, and whether he takes a year off or not, but it's like it'll all be judged if he has success before they do. Oh my God, the
hmm
heat that ownership is going to take. They already went out and
yeah.
started trashing players day one, so you just
Ugh.
wonder. I don't know. I don't know. You just wonder.
Yeah, it's a big mess. And normally the Lions historically have been the team that has been a mess. That they've been the franchise that has been an absolute unmitigated dumpster fire. And you see other happening to other teams now. And
Yeah.
you're just like, for all the Lions' faults and for whatever issues I had with Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, the Lions are nowhere near a dumpster fire. They have work to do. Obviously, they've reached a plateau. I hope they haven't plateaued. I hope they can still rise. But
I don't think they
the Lions,
plateaued.
they're
I really don't.
no. Well, I hope they haven't. I don't think they
It'll all
have,
be
but
judged by what they
I
do in
mean,
their free agency this year with that line and
yeah,
that
yeah. That's what the
defense.
deal is. It's all about. I feel like I'm just waiting for the Lions free agent news. I'm waiting for the draft. And the same thing. It's like I'm waiting for all the teams. I want to see what the Pistons wind up doing. If they keep that. I mean, they got such a good young core already. I don't know if they want to really add somebody to that, but the wings that we're waiting on. Iserman. What's Stevie Y gonna do? What's going on with him? Tiger. We're waiting for the Tarek Skubal announcement, even though
Which
we kind
is
of know what's going to be. But
I was gonna say it's gonna be nothing. It's gonna be null and void. I'm just disappointed in baseball right now,
yeah,
right? Like it's the same
I
thing
know
with
baseball is fucked.
it's the same thing with the Giannis trade in the NBA. I did a little video on that and how it's never gonna be the Pistons' destination for him, but I don't even think
Yeah,
that's gonna
Pistons
happen
just
right
aren't.
now.
Yeah, Pistons. For all the success they've had, they're just not a free agent destination. That's just never been their mo.
No.
It's a shame,
Outside of the
but
Red
that's
Wings
Pistons just
and
got to build.
the
Yeah,
early 2000s Tigers, we've never been a destination, right? And
yeah,
that was just because we had an owner that was just bleeding money, and veterans were like
hmm
waiting to get paid. And
yeah,
when it comes to the Pistons now, I don't want anybody to break up what they have. I think what they have is pretty special, right? So, like
yeah.
in my opinion, I like what I see. I was asking Jason, I'm like, I don't even think they need to make a trade. I saw Michael Porter Jr. sat out tonight for personal reasons, which usually means maybe he's getting traded, right? He's averaging like 25 points a season or game right now. Um,
hmm
there's the Jaron Jackson talk. There's the Giannis talk, but to me, I just don't really see anybody out there. I did see Dennis Schroeder got traded for like the 100th time. He's one of those
Yeah.
players that every year he's on 5 teams, and he does great
Yeah,
wherever
yeah.
he is. We had him last year. He's a shooter, Schroeder the shooter,
Yep.
and he can play defense
Mhm.
too. But to me, it's hilarious to see these guys who just constantly get moved.
Yeah, the journeyman. It's the
Oh,
same thing with every sports league. There's always a lot
oh
of
yeah,
movement. There's some guys that they might not be bad players, but for whatever reason, maybe they just can't gel with the team, or maybe they're just chasing a championship, or maybe there's just some other
it's
issue at
timing.
hand, and
It's
they just
all
wind up
just
playing
timing.
for. Yeah,
It's
that's true.
timing. It's your
That's true.
agent. It's what you're willing to do and what you're willing not to do. I think some guys are just more flexible, and then again, it's your it's your reputation, right? So,
Yep.
but you look at the current situation of Detroit sports right now, and I'm not sure there's somebody out there who's begging to come to any team other than I could see maybe a football player wanting to come to the Lions, like Max Crosby,
Yeah.
but like, okay, even Trey Hendrickson, right? He's inevitably hitting free
Hmm.
agency. I don't think he wants to come play here. He just played in Cincinnati, right? He's going to want to go play somewhere else. So, um,
Yeah.
I don't know. Guys still want to play out west. Fuck them.
Yeah. They want to play out west, and they want to play down in Florida. Stuff like that. Dude, we're gonna want to go down to Tampa with the palm trees and the big titties on the beach. But
Yeah, there's that
yeah,
big titty
I mean,
clause in the contract too that they always
yes,
talk
there
about.
is big titties and gators and meth.
Oh my.
Well, I went there, baby. I went there. Yeah, as far as like a agency destination goes, I mean, it's not. I think we got to temper our expectations.
Yeah.
I know I said, Eisman's going to make a big splash. I think he will make a big splash. I think he will pull somebody in. I think Detroit has to, the Red Wings have to earn, because obviously they were a big free agent destination in the 2000s. Mary Hinosa came here, Brad Stewart came here, Dominic Hasek came here, Brett Hull came here, Luke Robitaille came here. All these guys came here in the 2000s, helped us win cups. And, a lot of, I don't want to talk about that kind of stuff, but Detroit, I mean, is it at the point now you got to ask yourself, have the Red Wings done enough to prove that they're a free agent destination? And I think, I do think Eiserman's going to have to force it. He's going to have to probably overpay somebody. He's going to have to hand out a big cap hit to somebody. But I think he's in the position to do that. And I think, right now, as the Wings are constructed now, they're a good team now. They're a good to very good team now. But Eiserman's got to make that move. We got to be, Eiserman. It's just like obviously drafting, has always been great. In the days of Jimmy Devellano getting like Nicholas Lidstrom and Sergei Fedorov and Vladimir Konstantinov in the same draft in '89, and obviously, Eiserman's done some good work with the drafting he's done, but it's always been a mix. It's always been a mix. I remember getting Brendan Shanahan back in the '90s from the Whalers, I think it was. But it just we need more. It's time for the Red Wings to cross that threshold. I think. I know that I'm just rambling about hockey incoherently, but we were talking about whatever. But
No, it's okay.
yeah,
you're not. You're saying all the right things. You're saying all the things that I think we're all thinking right now. It's time for the Red Wings to take the
yeah,
next step. I think just to kind of recap, right? Lions, we have a raised bar for you now. You really have no excuses
yep,
this season. I think the timing lines back up to take another swing. Um,
yep,
Brad Holmes, I think it's all gonna. Let's talk about this. Everything with the Lions this year is going to be based off of Brad Holmes' attitude in free agency. So if you want to have another
yeah,
shitbag attitude, Brad, fucking don't, because I don't want you to.
yeah,
Quit fucking around, Brad. And then when
yep,
it comes to the Tigers and the Red Wings, we have an owner that doesn't want to spend money. But man, if you have to,
mm-hmm,
spend it with the Red Wings, please. And
yeah.
Scott
Or
Harris.
sell the team you don't like.
Yeah, so exactly.
Yeah.
And Scott Harris, please stop sending those text messages to Tarek Skubal's phone. We know it's you. Leave him alone, please.
Yeah.
We know you
Leave
don't like
Tarek
him.
alone, you pervert.
Yeah, you pervert.
Yuck.
We know you don't like him.
Ugh.
When it comes
Ugh.
to my Pistons, you guys have all the pieces you need. You don't need to go out and trade. You really don't. If you find somebody out there that is a nice added bonus as far as a 3-point shooter that can give Duncan Robinson a break. I'm cool with that, but you don't have to make a big blockbuster trade for Jaren Jackson or any of these guys out there. So just when it comes to the Pistons, dude, just stay the course. And yeah, Plexico Burris,
Yeah.
I'm just glad I wasn't in the Epstein files. I'm glad Plexico brought that up because that's something that just got released today. Another additional set of names.
Yeah.
And,
Oh boy.
It's some dark,
man, everybody's
dark,
getting named in
nasty
that shit.
I know, and you know what?
That's some fucked up shit.
Yep, and the moral of the story is all the stuff I've been saying privately has been right, and yeah, there's some really nasty, evil things out there. But I think us as a society, as long as we know that shit exists, we can just choose to call it out, and yeah, it's fucked up. We won't get too much on topic with that, but.
I think I'll just say this. I think the moral of the story is that Elon Musk can have $600 billion in the bank, but he's still not cool enough to fly to Epstein Island via the Lolita Express and have relations with kids. That, you know, still you're getting kicked out of that space, buddy. He's too big of a douchebag for Epstein. He's too big of a redditor for Epstein. That's pretty bad. That should affect Tesla stock.
My theory on that is I think that they know Elon is more intelligence than Epstein was, and I think Elon was trying to Epstein the Epstein. So at the end of the day,
he might be
the music and all that stuff. It was funny. I was listening to this guy, and he just equated everything to wrestling, and I'm like, man, didn't I just say that right? So yeah. Plexico Burst. The moral of the story is that you need to smell my asshole, Tom. That's true. I'm glad everybody got that. Thank you.
I love you, Plex.
Plexico. Thank you, Plexico.
I'm alone right now. Come to my house. We'll get it taken care of. We'll have some fun.
Well, Uncle Hermdo, it's been over an hour. We've covered it all. I think we've said it all. You know, we have an opportunity to I'm not reading that. We had an opportunity to have Hitch on this week, but unfortunately we ran out of time. So sorry, buddy. You're going to have to just hang out. We'll get you next time. Uncle Hermdo and I really thought it would be fun.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm going to start texting the shit out of him. What the fuck, Hitch?
Yeah. He said he, I don't know. Apparently he's the only one who can't open up the email, but I
guess
I don't buy any of that. Sorry.
No.
Yeah, so thank you again though for always being here, Hermdo. I would say the likes and subscribes are much appreciative, and your contribution has been excellent. So I can't thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I expect some videos coming out soon, guys. This week we'll be back on. It looks like every Sunday night. I think that's going to be the key. To come on here, talk sports, talk Lions, talk Red Wings, Pistons, Tigers, really whatever you want. We got Plexico Burris, we got Minnesota Hitch, we got the Dew, we got the Doctor. We've got Wayne from Canada. Guys, it doesn't get any better than the Fan Forum. So thank you, like, subscribe, and I don't know, Hermdo, you got anything to say?
I love you, and God bless America.
God bless America.
And prosecute Donald Trump or whatever. I don't know. Fuck it.
All right.